Good evening, my friends. This is the Grimflayer. Hope you're doing very well tonight. Forgive my voice, I'm a little bit under the weather, and it's also getting near my bedtime, so I'm just a bit run down. But I must make this video now because it's the only time I've got for it, and there is an important channel update contained herein, and I want to thank you so much for watching this as well as for keeping up with the deluge of content lately. Let's dive right into it. Okay, friends, so here's what happened. I got a promotion at work at my 9 to 5, and before anybody asks, what I do for a living, it's not that exciting, believe me. I don't like to talk much about it. I keep my life separate from, my private life separate from my YouTube life as much as I can, so let your imagination run wild. Look at this picture and then decide what you think it is I do for a living. Anyway, it's something very boring, but it does pay the bills, and the promotion is a good thing. It is going to help me pay the bills better. It is going to be increased financial stability for my family. However, you might have guessed this. As I'm leading up to it, you might already know what I'm about to say. It's going to come with a reduction in free time, and the reduction in free time must, by necessity, translate to a reduced presence for me on the channel and on ancillary platforms associated with the channel, simply because I am already dedicating the strong majority of my free time to this channel in one way or another. So I just have to tell you guys, that's how it's going to be, but I am committed to staying here as much as I can and being present for you as much as I can and bringing the content for you as much as I can. So don't worry. Grimflayer is not hanging up the axe just yet, not anytime soon, in fact, but I do have to restructure the way I do things. So the nature of the promotion is such that I will have fewer free hours at home where I can play games for you. I need to carve out, obviously, chunks of time, 2 to 3 hours, especially if I'm going to play a live recorded league. The reason sometimes you do see me with replays more than I might otherwise do replays as full leagues is because I have to play leagues broken up into like 1 game here, 2 games there, so on and so forth. So I will have to play a little bit less, and we're going to get into that in a bit, but I also expect to have less downtime in my new position than I did in my old position at work. And frankly, in the old position at work is sometimes when I could snag a few free moments to reply to people on various platforms. So the first thing to expect here is a reduced rate, or a longer turnover time, let's say, for me getting back to you with important messages, with replying to your DMs, with reaching out to you for donation leagues, so on and so forth. And also, I expect to no longer be able to be that guy who's replying in depth to every single YouTube comment. It's been really fun being able to do that, but I'm afraid to say I'm probably going to be more like a normal YouTuber from now on, where I'm not replying to literally every single comment. I've done that for over a year, and it's been really fun, and those who read the comments know that I do get into it, but I'm afraid that's probably something we can expect to mostly go by the wayside. But I'll still read every comment, I'll still reply to certain ones, and I will still do my best to keep up with the rest of the stuff as best as I can. So maybe those things don't change too much, but here is the doozy, my friends. Here is the big change, and I genuinely do regret that I've got to do this, but there's just no other way forward that I see. Let me explain to you what the change is, and then let me explain afterwards a couple of alternatives I considered. So, donation leagues are changing. They will be executed exactly as they were before, but the rate at which they are earned or purchased has increased, and I don't want to downplay it. It is a significant, large increase. It is 50% higher than the previous rate. It used to be $50, and now it is going to be $75, and this will take effect October 1st, but the people who are already on their way to a donation league via Patreon or who wish to purchase a donation league before that date will be grandfathered in. So let me explain that. So if you are on your way to a donation league, even after 10/1/20 when the new rate kicks in, you will earn your next one at $50. So a couple of examples, let's say Joe. Joe has been an Inquisitor for 1 month, and he has therefore donated $1 to me lifetime. If Joe at some point in the future decides he wishes to make a PayPal donation for a donation league, then The first one is at $50, after which Joe's journey toward the next donation league will kind of reset to zero, and then he'll be working toward a $75 donation league. And let's then consider Jane. Jane has been of the Veil for, I don't know, let's do some math on the fly, 7 months. So she has qualified already for 2 donation leagues at $50, and she is $40 deep toward the next one. Well, Jane, too, will earn a donation league as soon as she hits $50, but then the 10 will carry over toward the next one, but the next one is going to be earned at 75. So I hope that makes sense. Everybody who's new, after 10, 1, 20, will have donation leagues earned at $75 or purchased at $75 or a combination of both, because as you may know, you can earn donation leagues via accumulated Patreon donations or PayPal donations or a combination of both. But people who are on their way toward one, they'll get it at the old rate, after which the new rate will apply. So I hope that was clear. If not, you can message me and I'll explain further, especially as it might pertain to your current situation. So if anybody wants to read through this whole post, I'm going to scroll through it a little bit here. It's also linked below. This is not a patrons-only post. You can read it if you're part of the public. And I do want to talk just for a moment about exactly how I reached this conclusion. You know, some might say that I'm getting greedy raising the rate. It's really not the case. If I scroll back up, I'm giving you full disclosure here. This is how much I earn per month, and this is by far the best I've ever done. Like 2 months ago, it was about half of that. So what I'm doing lately has had me on an upward trajectory. People are liking it. There's a lot of momentum associated with the content. Even if I was purely motivated by greed, it would be a tactical blunder to now throw a wrench into the works and to say, well, now we're going to jack up the rate for no real reason when the current rate is bringing in the patrons. And again, this is purely a function of absolutely not enough time to keep up. Just to provide additional context, I am recording this on September 13th. And I still have 2 donation leagues from the month of August that I have yet to play. And I just this morning started reaching out to people who have qualified for September's donation leagues, and it's only going to increase from here as the patrons increase. So there are 2 things I could do in order to mitigate this flood of content that I need to make with less and less and less time to make it. One way to do it is what I've done, which is increase the rate, which will in turn reduce the frequency of earned donation leagues and also make it worth my time more to eat into my sleep schedule maybe a little bit to play these leagues if I have to, or to really have no time for anything else. That's one option. Another option would be to change the way donation leagues work somehow, where I'm not playing a full league, which didn't seem like it'd be satisfying, but I did consider that. Or maybe not working with the donor so much for the donation leagues. I would maybe have several lists ready to go, and then I'd say, okay, you want a donation league or you've qualified for a donation league, here you go, pick from these lists. Or maybe I'll just play whatever your list is without talking about it. But that's not what the channel does. That's not what we're here to do. A big part of the lifeblood of the channel and a big part of the fun of the donation leagues is working extensively with the donors to craft them and talking about that in the intro and what I'm skeptical of, what I'm really impressed by, what I am just curious to see how it does. And then we play it and we see how it does, and then we review it at the end. It takes away a lot of the soul, a lot of the upside of the donation leagues if we don't have that interaction. So my final conclusion after a great deal of back and forth is just kind of you know what? We just simply have to up the rate. It's the only way to keep things intact. And then we can keep all of the trappings and all of the usual traits of the donation league exactly as they were. So there you go, guys. Those are the winds of change. That is the big channel update. And this is such a good problem to have. It really is. it is beyond my wildest dreams when I started the channel that I would eventually come to a point where I could no longer handle the amount of content necessary to fulfill the obligations to my financial supporters. It is truly mind-blowing. I never really thought this day would come, but it has, so I want to thank you sincerely to all Patreon supporters, and I also want to give you full disclosure, in addition to showing you the full disclosure of what's going on Patreon. I do want to say that the promotion that I'm getting that's causing this change is going to be a raise. I do not need the secondary income from this channel as much. At the same time, it does remain the primary motivating factor for me to carve out what little free time I have and dedicate it to the channel. So if you want to see the content, sticking around, supporting me on Patreon is still the very best way to do it. However, I have to be honest with you, I don't quite need it as much as I did, let's say, a year ago. Times are better for us financially, and they're about to get even better with the promotion. So if, number one, it's tight for you, by no means should you have ever felt obligated, but you should feel even less obligated now. Number two, if the main reason you were a Patreon supporter was that you were exchanging that value for the value of getting a donation league every X months, whatever your tier was, and now it is no longer as worth it to you, I do understand that too. So guys, just want to be honest with you, and just like everybody who's on their way to a donation league will be grandfathered in, nothing else I'm doing is going away. Even if I have to reduce my presence even more in the future, everything I've built, the community, the Discord, it will all stay. It will all stand the test of time. I know that. We have such an awesome group. And this is the update. As for the price range, you can let me know what you think about it, but I do think it's pretty much set in stone. I don't think doing a less dramatic increase is going to get me where I need to be in order to have a chance of realistically keeping up with all of the leagues and all of the content. And just as further evidence for this, guys, just look at the recent uploads. It's just a rate I cannot sustain, frankly. I arguably couldn't sustain it even before the promotion, which is going to, again, reduce my free time at home by a significant amount. So there we go, guys. I do want to thank you so very much for watching, as well as for all of the support. We will have to make the content better. You know what I mean? If we are losing out on some frequency, we will have to up the quality, and I'll be looking into ways to do that. But maybe just like without having quite so many leagues that I always need to play weighing on my mind, maybe I'll be a little more relaxed when I play. I'll tilt a little bit less. I don't think I necessarily have a problem with that, but I'd certainly have room to improve, right? So in any case, you guys let me know what you think. Thanks again for watching, and this is the new era of Grimflayer MTG, and let's hope it is just as fun as the old one. I'll talk to you soon. Hope everybody out there has a wonderful day.